let's move to Twitch stuff. Before going into TwitchCon, I wanted to update a couple things, what we talked about before. Here's one. Here is an exact placement of somebody elevating their chat. I'm not in theater mode, by the way. Not theater mode. You can see all my stuff here, and here's the chat. Do you see the elevated chat here? No. Why not? Well, it's actually down here. Twitch. This is so bad. Like, I just don't understand this implementation of this. It's an elevated chat. If I was looking at this for the first time, first of all, yeah, it doesn't make sense. To Ghost's point, it's not elevated anymore. You brought it down somehow. Secondly, the point of design, as somebody who's learning this now and not an expert, but the point of design is consistency and expectation to a certain degree. My expectation is that if I elevate a chat, it's going to be in the frickin' chat window. Number two, it's not consistent. If you highlight chats and like you can see all the top stuff here, it's all at the top of the chat. So my expectation is, okay, maybe like a section of this is replaced by the highlighted elevated message, excuse me. Maybe a section of this is replaced by the elevated message so that the streamer can see it when they look at chat. For whatever reason, yeah, the timer.
The timer is really
it's obvious, I suppose.
Taking up a lot of space there.
Like, it's obvious, I guess, but like this is number one, it's not elevated. Number two, it's not consistent. Number three, it's just not what I would have expected. So for me, I'm just shocked that a designer came in, talked to people, and said, "Okay, we'll put it here." Maybe when they interviewed all the people to try and get an idea of where they should put it, the people trolled. They were like, yeah, just put it down. Get it? Because it's supposed to be elevated, but if you put it down, it's like the opposite of your expectation. I don't know. But this is really bad. Like, for me, I'm not an expert in design, but I can tell you right now, just looking at this is not good design.
Well, like, again, it's elevated chat. It should be in the chat.
Exactly.
In the chat window. Like, it's elevated chat. It needs to be somewhere in the chat window. Like, that is just the long and short of it. It is elevated chat. It needs to be in the chat window somewhere. Like...
Oh, wait. Reminder, in theater mode, it doesn't even show up. Oh, that's even worse.
That's even worse.
That's even worse. It's just... I'm gonna go out and say this again. I think I said it before, and I would say this to anybody. I actually have elevated chat in my stream for God knows what reason. Nobody should ever use this feature. It's so poorly implemented that I think what people should do is not use it. Get Twitch to like actually do their job and talk to people and ask, why aren't you using it? So that we can tell them the reason why we're not using it is because it's not placed correctly. And you didn't do a good job implementing this. I'm so shocked that somebody thought this was where it should go. And I'm shocked that nobody thought of theater mode. And it's like, well, what if they're in theater mode? Yeah, that's shocking to me.
Like on this computer, especially because my monitor isn't that big. Like I use theater mode all the time on Twitch.
Right. Because it's a nice way to see streams if you're just laser focused on a stream. It's a nice way to see it. That makes sense. And that's the way it should be. And we couldn't opt out of that because why not? Why can't we opt out of things? We're removing theater mode as a feature. Twitch is really good at removing things, by the way. They've been quite poor lately on implementing things. But they're really good at removing things. That's what Twitch is good at, actually.
Twitch has just taken L after L after L.
I mean,
after L recently.
We talked about this before, and I'm going to actually jump to the next part of this because I do want to share more. So here's the recent pricing model for the elevated chats. This was in a different stream I was in before, and I happened to pop open this elevated chat window because I was curious. L plus ratio. That's what it should be. They changed it. It's now consistent across the board. So 5 to 10 to 25 to 50 to 100. And I like those numbers make sense. So they changed it at some point to mirror our expectations. but it's
Yeah, again, I think it should get cheaper as the more you get, but okay, whatever. Like, at least this
Yeah.
is like the math makes sense here. Again, usually with these kinds of things, when you buy like the higher increments, you get like a little more for your money because they want you to buy the
correct.
bigger increments. But again, at least mathematically, this makes sense. Every 30 seconds is $5. Yeah, every 30 seconds is $5. That's
Yes.
it.
And
Like,
mathematically it makes sense. Logically, I still don't fully understand why there wouldn't be discounts. I think is where we're at with this.
or why you can't like donate a more custom amount up to a limit. Like again,
Right.
YouTube's up to what, like 500 or maybe it's 400. I don't remember. We saw it the other day.
It
But
was 500, I believe.
yeah,
But you can do any amount in there. And they have their algorithm which determines amount to time ratio. Twitch
it was
is
anything from what, like $1 or $2 to 500 or something like that. So.
Yeah. So I just wanted to update here too because we talked about it before and it was a stupid implementation originally. It's still very poor. It's still poor for me, but at least it's mathematically correct now. I still would not use this ever. I would never use this feature the way that it's implemented right now. I know people will because they don't. I don't know if I want to say they don't know any better. They don't know what we see. They're not checking it. But I think people like still will use it. I just think that Twitch is going to look at the data and be like, how come nobody's using this? And I'm worried they're not going to put the pieces together as to why they're not people aren't using it. And it's because the implementation from a visual side is terrible. So okay, that's the update here for elevated messages. I think that was the only one I had for these ones.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought they fixed the where the message goes as well, and that it was actually in chat now. But no, they only fixed the pricing model.
Nope. This was from a few days ago. This was not like, this was a few days ago. So okay.
So they're halfway there. They fixed the pricing model. Now they just need to fix the implementation of the message.
Imagine them fixing it faster. Nah, it couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. There was a video I was watching from Moist Critical talking about all this stuff, and he's like, I don't know. There's some people that are talking about this. They're like, Twitch has such a bloated software like engineering team. They have this bloated developer team, I guess. I don't know if I can confirm that.
And they do nothing.
And it's like, what do you do though? Like you're implementing things, but you seem very slow and you take a lot of things away. So like, what is the bloated team doing exactly? So apply for student loan forgiveness. Oh yeah, good. I do wish everybody luck on that because I know that I get updates on that too. From the I think it's like the $10,000 forgiveness program or something like that the Biden administration is rolling out. So good luck on getting that some of that loan forgiveness. Okay. God, Spoon, let's talk about TwitchCon. Oh my God. Okay, Spoon, let's just go through the big stuff, okay? So here's a couple big ones. Some of these tweets got removed, but here's some big ones. So there was Dream in particular had a panel, and Dream's fan base is massive. Spoon, you have to know this. Yep. Dream is a name. Massive.
I'm aware that his fan base is massive.
Massive fan base. He recently
he won content creator of the year. Like, was it last year? Maybe it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, he did like a recent face reveal, and obviously people really excited about his brand. I don't care, but he has a massive fan base. So they decided, okay, Dream's panel, let's put him in a room of a maximum occupancy of 400. I'm very curious. I would love to have the person who planned this. I want the entire TwitchCon organization team in a room. I want to sit them down and I want to go, let's start with the Dream panel. What numbers did you calculate to think 400 was satisfactory for a room for somebody that has millions upon millions of fans? I would be really curious to know. Because all the people that tried to get into that room caused like a stampede. And additionally, as a result, people that were disabled, wheelchairs, just like various different, I would say, physical challenges related to trying to, not just people in wheelchairs, but possibly people in crutches, things like that. You have a disabilities lane, but when a stampede is occurring, the lanes don't matter anymore. So all these people who are already, going to have a tough time with getting to this panel are now squished to the side, completely screwed over, and like people are having panic attacks because obviously you're in this like incredibly crowded hallway, this space. So if you're claustrophobic at all, good, you're gonna like maybe you'll faint. I want them in a room and I want to go, what was your thought process? And the thing that also bothers me is Twitch is much like, many companies, to be fair, they constantly like, we recognize people with disabilities. We want to show you that Twitch is a place where we feel you're included. They want to be inclusive. But then they're like, okay, let's put them in this hallway with a stampede.
Companies on that kind of stuff, like the inclusiveness and all that. They're all talk and no action.
Oh,
basically.
absolutely.
Or actually, they're all talk and they do like the opposite, because there's a lot of like data on, companies talking about like being inclusive with whether it be disabilities or like LGBTQ, trans rights, etc., and then they donate to politicians who are like exclusively against like those things. Like, sorry, not exclusively, explicitly against those things. And you're like, okay, thanks Twitch, thanks Amazon, thanks Coca-Cola, thanks whatever, like whoever you're talking about.
Because we all know this. This is not a statement that is something that people just don't know. Cash is king. If you asked somebody as an executive of some of those companies, hey, listen, I know you say you're for these things, but we could lose $1 billion unless we support this group of politicians who are going to lobby for us or whatever. They're going to pick the billion. They're not going to pick the other people unless they're like, I guess, a non-profit or like a benefit corporation that's like a pseudo non-profit, not really a non-profit. They're not going to do that. It's cash is king. We know this. So that's why, like, in this particular case, I'm like, Twitch, you preach constantly inclusiveness, but people with disabilities, I am really sorry. I will apologize because Twitch won't. Twitch is not going to apologize. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you guys got really screwed over by this event, and it shouldn't have happened. There should have been better management of the panel to give a bigger space and accommodation for people with disabilities. There should have been a better way of handling the quote unquote, all this stampeding. Because apparently there's no security or any Twitch organizers to do anything. I mean, and once there's a stampede, there's nothing you can do. Like, there's just nothing you can do. Yeah. So I just feel so horrible for those folks. Like, that's not fair.
I mean, was that the biggest room that they had, or did they have bigger rooms and just didn't put Dream?
It's a convention center. There has to be a theater in there. Put him in the theater. I don't care what else you have going on. Put him in the theater. If somebody has millions of followers, you put him in the theater.
When we went to TwitchCon in San Jose that one time, they had a theater. Like, we went to a drop frames thing in the theater, and I'm sure that theater hall held more than 400 people. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure it was more than 400.
It had to have been more than 400. But, like, it's just, it's a complete joke that somebody thought, 400 is enough. Like, I really don't want to, like, say this often, but, like, that's like a 3 brain cell mindset. That's like, you literally only activated 3 brain cells on that.
Like, honestly, like, management at Twitch right now seems like they are literally like they're one head. They have almost 0 brain cells. Like, they just don't think things through. They don't care about anything, and they just do things without thinking about it at all. Like,
I actually think I know what's up. I think some executives at the company are like, how many toes can we shoot off before somebody decides to move on? How many times can we shoot ourselves in the foot before somebody decides to move to somewhere else, like YouTube or whatever? How many L's can we take Like some bets going on. They're like, I bet we could take 10 L's, big L's, and still people will stay with us. Like it, and it's so ridiculous because like, I mean, I don't know how much accountability Twitch actually takes on some of these things. Like, I don't know if they've ever made a statement on TwitchCon.
Probably none. Probably none.
There's like, yeah, it was great. I'm sure they're like, yeah, what a great TwitchCon. And we have this massive list of things where like, hey, yeah, like people don't go to like meet and greets before the staff tells you. They'll make you leave if you go early. So like they're giving miscommunication. People are just taking other people's stuff that are on panels. What the fuck? So like there's no protections of personal space of content creators. People are trampling other people. That was the trampling section. Yep, and then there's people that were passing out, having panic attacks because of the stampede. Let's see. Just like poor planning. This is poor planning again. Where's the one where... Oh, we have to get to the foam ball pit thing.
I mean, yeah, that's like its own thing. The foam death trap.
The foam death trap was
the
probably...
foam pit death trap.
Where was that? Okay, here's the... We're going to go to the foam pit death trap. We have to go to it. And I have it right here. By the way, if anybody here is like really concerned about seeing like and really doesn't want to see injuries, I would suggest not watching this particular part. But like, I'm just gonna keep it paused here. This is the quote unquote ball pit. It's just like foam cubes, I guess. Okay, so here's this like, they've had this before, by the way. Twitch has had this before. This was managed by Lenovo, in Intel. It's hard to see it, but this was a thing managed by Lenovo and Intel. But like, at the same time, Twitch needs to sign off on these things. So I give Twitch some accountability here. Another thing that I should mention, Spoon, is when you do things like this, Twitch is going to give you a waiver and say like, oh, like, yeah, sign this and maybe we won't, you know,
waivers are signed to go in these things because there is a chance of you getting injured. But...
Right. Trying to remove any sort of liability that Twitch may have. But you know what? I'm going to say this, like, fuck that. If I was Adriana here, I would have just tried it anyway. I would have just tried to go after him anyway. This is complete horseshit.
This seems like, I don't know. It's kind of like blatant like disregard for safety. There's like two layers of foam here, and then like a hard floor on, we don't know exactly what it is, but some sort of hard surface underneath, whether it be concrete or wood or something, but it's not padded. It's not padded. That's for freaking sure.
It's not padded. So, oh my god, I don't know if I want to play the video. I'm just gonna like kind of stop it at the point. Oh, I got an ad. You got to be kidding me, YouTube. YouTube knew. They threw an ad at me.
Yeah, it's like you would think they would at least.
There it was.
You would think
just
they should
dove right in. Why?
You would think they would put at least like a gymnastics mat type thing under it. Like,
yeah.
She landed directly on her tailbone.
Oh yeah. Absolutely did. I mean, like that, and like the way that she bounced on the ground, and like you could immediately tell, like, okay, pain, just pure pain right there in the face. I'm just like, multiple people screwed up here. Multiple people screwed up here in thinking, yeah, let's put these foam cubes in here and then have a really hard surface under it with no padding whatsoever. I don't know. If it was me, I would seriously be going, okay, so you're paying all my medical bills and you're going to give me something extra because you really screwed up here. This was so bad. Yeah, there was another thing like, too that somebody got injured into.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what those waivers cover, so like maybe the person has really no legal standing on this, which would be unfortunate, but like there comes a point where it's like they're also kind of like misrepresenting what it is if like, you know, when you go on one of these things, you think it's like relatively safe to like jump in, one of these pits, because
Right.
it's supposed to be like, first of all, I mean, you should be caught. There should be enough foam that like the foam should catch you anyways. But even if there isn't, like there should be something soft underneath, whether it be
Yeah.
something like bouncy, or again at least like a mat of some kind, like they
Right.
use in like gymnastics or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's just like
It's nothing. It
something
looked
hard. It's
some
like
hard surface.
concrete or wood or
And it's like,
yeah, I don't know.
what a
Yeah.
like huge fail here. And yeah, we don't know what the waivers cover. Like, maybe she has no ability to do anything, but like I would. Like, this is like, I would have immediately gone in there and go, hey, look, like it's very obvious that even though I signed this was not up to safety standards whatsoever.
Yeah, this is not up. This can't be up to like code on safety for one of these things. Like,
It just doesn't seem like it. So just pay my medical bills. Like, absolute insanity. But
and like to be
okay.
honest, like that wouldn't even cover it. Like, this person, like I think she broke her spine in like 2 or 3 places, or
broke her
something
back
like
in 2
that.
places. Yeah.
And like that's a long-standing injury. Like back injuries are very serious. You can have nerve damage with back injuries. Obviously, the spinal cord carries all the nerves from your brain down your body, and then they go out from the spinal cord. Like, your spinal cord is very important. So damaging your spinal cord is really bad, long-lasting injuries. Obviously, I'm sure they do surgery, but surgery on the spinal cord is also dangerous because of all the nerves and important things in it. So, like,
oh yeah. So this is like, and that's all the more reason I would have done something and gone after
she
them.
walked today for the first time since the infant. Okay, I mean,
And
good to hear that she's improving,
yeah.
but it's been a week. It's been a week.
Yeah,
like,
like,
she couldn't walk for a week. That's pretty bad.
That's really bad. Like, I would have gone after them 100% and be like, look, I signed this waiver, but I also signed it with the thought that this was safe. This is not safe at all.
I mean, yeah, I think she has to at least like inquire, like talk to lawyers and see like what they can do on this, and be like, I feel like they did not set this up properly. Like, this was not up to safety code on this. Like,
right. Which it's just like, come on, like, she's not the only one that got injured in here, by the way. Somebody else like dislocated a knee or something in here, or like did something bad in here. And then there was another thing, I don't know what I would call it, exhibit. Let's just call it an exhibit for now. Where they were playing like a game of like, I don't even know what it was exactly, but they were running around, and the space had like a bunch of couches and chairs and stuff. There were tons of obstacles, and they're trying to find things, and they're running around. So they're running around this space, and somebody like got caught on something and broke their ankle, it looked like.
Yep.
In multiple breaks. And I'm just like, Twitch, like this, there comes a point where as an organizer, you have to go, okay, yes, it's fun, but how safe is this? How safe is it to have somebody running around a room with one other person that's looks pretty small with tons of furniture, and they're running around? It's just like, at a point, it's like, this is not fun anymore. It becomes a huge hazard. So I just like,
another example was like, yep, Twitch, you had an idea, and you didn't really think it through very well, did you?
No, there was it was in here too. I'm not going to show the actual like injury. I think it was, I don't know if it was in here or not, but like you can look it up. It was in another one of these, not like a ball pit, but it looked like a room, and the person was running around, and it looked like she had got caught on something, and she broke her ankle in multiple breaks. And like, if I'm there again with the organizers in the room, I'm like, okay, guys, like, everybody, why, like, where was the point where you thought, okay, maybe it's fun, but it's also really unsafe? Like, maybe we should like tone down the furniture or something. Like, the area looked really crowded with stuff that you could get caught on. Big fat L is my thought.
Also, the like announcer who was like commentating in this foam pit.
Oh yeah.
when this happened, it was so awful. She's like, "Oh man, she's taking a long time to get out of there." And there's a lot of people around going like, "Oh, is she okay? Is she okay?" And the announcer's making a big fat joke of it.
Yeah,
Like, "Oh,
it's
looks
fucking
like she's
stupid.
stuck in the ball pit." It's like, no, actually, she is stuck in the ball pit. She broke her back. You freaking idiot. Maybe you should shut up.
She's
Like-
injured. Get in there. And the announcers were terrible. Yeah, the announcers like, "Oh, she'll be fine. Get out. Walk it off." It's like, fuck off, announcer. Like, what? How do you not see? Like, if I'm like, I know I'm not the announcers, but if I'm there, I'm immediately telling the announcers, "Okay, you got stop talking, stop talking." She's clearly hurt. It's really clear.
Production in the announcer's ear, "Shut the hell up, you idiot.
Stop talking,
Like,
stop talking. We need to get people in there to get her out now." Very, like, again, big L's. Twitch is just big L's the last
Big
like
L's.
over month
L
and a half.
L
Like,
L L.
just constantly L's. Just, and the thing is, like, and after stuff like this, obviously it reignites the conversations from people like, okay, like, when do people decide it's not worth streaming here anymore, given Twitch is constantly fucking you over?
Yeah.
There was one other thing I saw. I'll try and pull it up maybe next podcast. Apparently, when they lowered the payouts, if you do a wire transfer for your Twitch payout, they charge you a fee. So if you take the $50 payout and do the wire transfer, you take a fee on it, so you don't actually get your full payout. And like, it kind of like, okay, it's like it's a wire transfer. You know, wire transfers do take fees, I think, but still, it's just like the funniest thing where you're just like, okay.
Ghost in the chat. As an apology for all the bad decisions we're making, we're changing the revenue split to 37.
Due to all the various lawsuits we're taking and L's we've gotten, we got to change the split again. We can't afford to do this anymore.
I saw one other tweet as related to TwitchCon where I didn't recognize the streamer that it was from, but it was someone who said, the tweet basically said they had a discussion or a meeting of some sort with one of the bigwigs at Twitch, like president or something, you know, one of the higher up people, and
right.
Basically the thrust of the tweet is like they came out of there feeling like really depressed. He's like, "Yeah, I just feel depressed after that conversation. This person was just so out of touch with like anything."
The Twitch, sorry,
Twitch,
it was a Twitch higher up having a conversation.
It was a Twitch,
okay,
with like a streamer or someone.
And the streamer was feeling bad. Yeah.
And the streamer came out feeling horrible because he just felt the person was completely out of touch and just gave zero fucks, basically.
Well, that's what happens is when you put people in these places that aren't the ones that like have, I guess, like walked the shoes of a content creator, they're not going to understand. And and they're only going to, their main focus at that point is, you know, okay, like, my boss is telling me this, Amazon's telling me we need to make more money. We can't.
Daddy Bezos says we need more money.
Yeah,
like,
Amazon says we need more money. We're not making enough, and it looks like we're really, maybe they're on the cusp of not even breaking even. I don't know that. And like, look, Amazon's pressuring us to make money, and we can't necessarily make even more money on ads because we screwed up the implementation of ads. So how do we do this? Well, we have to pump out more ads. Well, how do we pump up more ads? Well, we have to give streamers an incentive to play them. Well, how can we do that? And the executive decision was, we're going to take money from the streamer and convince them that the ads are how they're going to get it back. I mean, and that is the thought process. Is like, well, if we squeeze out more ads, we'll get more money. But that means we also need to take subscriber money because we need streamers to have an incentive to play those ads. And it's like, there's no incentive to play ads right now. I mean, there is, you get money, but like, if you're a creator, like you're playing an ad and a small creator's compromising their content. Like big streamers, it doesn't matter anymore. They can play all the ads they want. Doesn't matter. But small streamers can't.
And on that note, one last thing before we
please.
move on to something else. I saw a tweet today from JP. He's a relatively large streamer, but not huge. 1,000 viewers or so concurrently. He took a long break recently. I think he took just about basically the entire month of September off. After having streamed for like 2 years straight, like 150 hours a week, something crazy, like insane grind on Twitch. And he got his like ad offer the other day and he posted on Twitter. It was like stream 5 or more hours next month and get 506 6 minutes of ads per hour for $500 extra, right?
Yeah.
Like basically the point was their algorithm did not take into account at all the work he's put in for the past 2 years and only cared about like the last month where he basically
Right, and he didn't stream. God.
Yeah, it's just this algorithm-based bullshit, and it's like
it's looking at the last 30 days. It says over the last 30 days, what did the streamer do? And if he didn't, or barely any, the algorithm says, oh, well, this streamer only streamed about 3 hours, so we have to convince him to stream more. And, oh my god!
And
what a stupid implementation.
And I don't understand how the math works, but basically some of the follow-up tweets are saying like he needs to stream like double what he was doing basically to like make up to like what he should have gotten because of the way the system works, which I don't understand how that works, but basically he got screwed over royally for taking a month off.
Somebody screwed up the algorithm and said it only has to be 30 days, which is a really bad idea, because then it doesn't discount the fact that, look, not every streamer streams every day. Some might take a week off in a given month to take a vacation. That is 100% fair and warranted. That means that your algorithm now misses 7 days because they took a vacation, but that's not fair because they streamed a lot in the other 2 months previous too. This should be like a 90-day algorithm, perhaps, and then it'll take into account, okay, what was the peak and what was the low? Maybe try and like find it in between. Or
it should, like, if they have the data, you should take the data over like a year and say like, okay, this was the most that they streamed in like a month, this was the least, and like let's get somewhere in the middle, basically, like, because content creators need a freaking break now and again. Like, I know that like obviously these algorithms make it difficult for content creators to take a break, but JP for one, like, man, he was like end of August or so, like he was just seeming so burned out, man. Like, I follow him, like I don't know, I like his streams, I like dropped frames, and he seemed like he was on the verge of freaking quitting streaming, basically. He was so burned out, like.
And this is the problem with Twitch in general. Twitch assumes you're a robot. Twitch assumes you're a robot. They're like, you will never burn out. You will always, if you're a full-time creator, you will never burn out, you'll never take vacations, and if you do, we're not going to give you a parachute. Unless you're a contracted streamer. But
most of these big companies, whether it be streaming or not, treat people like robots. Like, we know this. Like,
in particular, the content creators are the ones that are going to take the biggest L by far. I don't know what Twitch has a weird like hate relationship. I wanted to say love-hate, but I don't know if that's even true. I think they just hate their streamers sometimes. They're like, we hate our content creators. It just feels like it, because they're constantly doing things that are detrimental.
Yep.
So I know we're gonna move on here. So that's what I'm gonna leave it as. Like, I think Twitch just hates content creators, but puts up with them because that's how Twitch is making money. So they're just putting up with content creators. It just feels like it sometimes. Okay, let's move on to